Okay. We are live. Perfect. We're live on both Instagram and YouTube right now. So if you're on YouTube, great. If you're on Instagram, great. If you're not subscribed to one of them, go subscribe. Welcome, you guys. Welcome back to our daily live feed. It is a pro show preview night. Why this went to... What's up? Yes, happy Wednesday. Hello. As you guys get logged on, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. And we also talk about hot topics, which our hot topic tonight is the pro show preview. So as we're waiting for everybody to get logged on, this is a new season. This is something that we do every week that there is a pro show with female divisions. So this week we have the Caribbean Grand Prix that's going on. So we will preview this show, talk about the people that are in it, the potential winners, potential top 5, that kind of thing. Get your 2 cents as well. And the beginning of the season is always a little bit tricky because we haven't seen anybody in a while. We haven't seen anybody actually on stage except for those that were in the Arnold and Legends. We haven't seen anybody actually on stage for months. So people can come back and look a whole lot better after a few months off. So this show, as we get into this show is where we're really going to start seeing people start to come out. Like we're going to start after this particular show, we're going to start seeing people come out that are going to compete throughout the spring, that kind of thing. So basically this is going to be the first time that we see our potential competitors for the next few months. You know, most of the girls that were in the Arnold, we had Boston too. I forgot about Boston. Hair looks amazing today. Thank you. It looked much better, but I worked out and did cardio and posed and all of that. So it's a little bit flatter than it was, but thank you. But yeah, so this is the first, we're going to start getting into the meat of the spring season in the next few weeks. The Clash series is one of the first big ones of the year. This one is relatively small, so it's still decent size. But it's relatively small because it's in the Caribbean. They have lots of requirements as far as travel restrictions, things like that are concerned. So I know that a lot of that stuff is starting to lift, but I do know that that's just been recent. So a lot of people were considering doing this show, but weren't really sure what was going to happen with the travel restrictions and things like that. So it's difficult to prep for a show when you don't know if you're going to actually be able to go. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing. So once we get into the next month or two, we're going to see a lot more people showing up at these shows. This particular show, though, again, it was on my radar actually, but I just didn't know how the travel restrictions were going to be. And there's just a lot of things to have up in the air when you're trying to prep for a show. So, kudos to the people who are actually getting into this. But, when you look at the wellness lineup, it's mostly people that were in the Arnold. And then you look at the Bikini lineup, and again, we've got a few people on here that were in the Arnold or, that just competed in Boston or trying to knock out a qualification early, that kind of thing. So we're going to start with wellness, and then we'll go to Bikini. The wellness lineup is very small. It's five wellness competitors. Again, doesn't surprise me that it's small because of the travel restrictions that are in place. So it makes it difficult to get down there, really. And again, I don't know if I would be one that would want to prep for a show if I didn't know if it was going to actually happen or not, if I was going to be able to go or whatever. You know what I mean? So, kudos to the girls who are actually going. And I also want to point out, this is another one that we can mention that, somebody had mentioned this a few weeks ago kind of thing, where if it was less people in the show, it shouldn't, count as many points, that kind of thing. Absolutely not. And here's a good reason. We've got 5 girls in this show, and 3 of the 5 were Olympians and also Arnold competitors. So it's not a easy show. Just because there's less numbers doesn't mean it's easy, right? Thank you on the hair compliment. Appreciate it. So with that, looking at the lineup, I believe that this is probably going to be a win for Barbara. But we do have two people on here that we haven't seen for a while, and that's Celeste and I can't even read that name because it's small. Nariti something. She just won her pro card over in Spain, I believe. So we haven't seen them in a lineup yet this year. So who knows? They could come in looking phenomenal and could take this show. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, right, Devin. So, I mean, coming out of the gate, looking at it, it looks like this is a win for Barbara. But you never know what could happen, right? Lorena's here as well. So is Casey. All three of them were in the Arnold. Barbara did beat the other two in the Arnold, so I'd expect that to happen again. But who knows what Celeste and this other girl look like. So Celeste has been competing, really. I don't know. I looked her up. And the only one I saw was from overseas, so I could be wrong on that. When was the last time she competed, Devin? I didn't see her pictures if she competed recently. When did she compete? Oh, she did? She did Boston? Oh, maybe do they not have Boston pictures up on NBC News? They should, right? Let me see. Let's see if I can find her again. I just did a really quick search. Let's see. Yeah, the pictures that popped up was Texas State. That was the last one that she did that popped up when I put her name into NBC News. So, but anyway, I mean, who knows? Yeah, Texas is the one that pops up on NBC News. So, okay, got it. So I haven't personally seen her. I didn't pay attention to her. Obviously, in Boston, she didn't place high. Apparently, I didn't pay attention to that though. So, anyway, I would guess that that Barbara's probably going to take this. That's what I would guess. Probably. I don't know. I don't know where I put the other placings because again, those two girls that I personally haven't seen or haven't paid attention to at least. I don't know where they're going to land. I don't know. We'll see. But I would guess Barbara would win this. Maybe Lorena in second. But we'll see. We'll see. This is not an easy show, though. Yeah, I would say Lowly in second. Yeah, that's what I would say. Barbara did look good at the Arnold. She was a little undersized, but I think this will be a win for her here. And then we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the five play out. You know, one of the good things about doing this show is everybody's getting Olympia points. Even if you place last, you're still getting Olympia points. So there's that. Unless somebody gets added on, somebody could add on to the list. You never know. Plus everyone's pro card. Oh, that's true too. So that's something I was going to mention. This is a pro qualifier. So that means that there will be pro cards handed out in each division at this particular show too. So that's correct. Anybody who wins their pro card at this show can jump into the show too. So there will be at least 6 competitors. So there will be one person that doesn't get Olympia points. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Casey is the only one that actually is qualified for the Olympia at this point out of the lineup. I don't think anybody else is actually qualified. So we will likely see somebody else qualify here, and then we'll see who gets the points from that point on. But I don't think this is going to be an easy lineup by any stretch of the imagination. I actually think it's going to be pretty good competition. I think we're going to see some really good competition between these 5 or 6 girls that are going to be here. So again, just because it's 5 or 6 girls does not mean that they should get less points or something like that, because they're Arnold and Olympia qualified athletes in this lineup. You know what I mean? So just because there's less competitors doesn't mean that the show is easier. And just because, and this is another misnomer too, people think that because they go to, the Caribbean or something like that in order to compete to Bermuda, they think it's going to be easier, and it's not, because of the girls that show up, right? So We're going to take that over to Bikini as well. It's the same thing here. Just because this lineup is smaller does not mean it is an easy lineup, right? That we know, but not that we know any of them, but Rio has 2 wellness pros. Are you talking about? I don't know what you mean by Rio. What am I missing with Rio? I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that comment. So going over to Bikini, we have 9 competitors in Bikini. And again, we may see somebody jump in, that kind of thing. That always is a scenario. This list may not be complete. Somebody may decide to jump in last minute. Oh, I see. You know what? I looked at. Let me pull up the pro list again because I looked at that. Devin's bringing up a good point here. Let me just pull up the lists. I was looking for that list. There it is. I just didn't scroll far enough on the actual IFBB pro list. There's only 2. Oh, that's funny. I thought that I saw that Julia was doing this one. Did I see that? I thought I saw her post on Instagram that she's doing this one. If so, then I would say she's probably going to win it. That's what I would say. Yeah, only 2. I would assume being that it's, Brazil, maybe they'll. Rio's Brazil, right? I don't even know. I'm like, this is too much geography for me right now. But yeah, there's only 2 in that. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Somebody's getting a qualification, but I thought I saw that Julia said that she was doing it. If so, then there's 3 because she's not on the list. So we'll see. Anyway, okay, so let's go back to Bikini for the Caribbean Grand Prix. So again, there's 9 competitors here. We may end up getting 1 or 2 that jump in. That tends to happen. They may not have the list fully updated. A lot of these girls on this list I'm noticing are Masters pros. When I was looking them up, that kind of thing, I do see some Masters pros in here. But then we've also got Alessia, Ellie, and Ashlyn in there too. And to be perfectly honest with you, this show could go to any one of those 3. Just depends on who shows up looking the best that day, right? Bikini, we'll see what else is going to be the pros. Well, right. We just talked about that with the wellness. Too. So, I mean, if I had, I don't know, because Ellie just did beat Alessia in Boston. So Ellie did beat her. I don't believe Alessia is qualified for the Olympia at this time. So she does need to win a show. She's got points, obviously, but she does need to win a show in order to qualify again. Ashlyn is not qualified. She hasn't competed since the Olympia. So we're looking at, and Ellie's not qualified either. So we're looking at 3 previously Olympia qualified athletes who are fighting for this first place spot. Now, obviously, somebody on this list could come out and shock us. But if I was a betting woman, I would go with Alessia, Ellie, or Ashlyn. And they all are very different in looks. So, I don't know. It's going to be a tough show. Alessia was a little bit hard and a little bit thin at Boston, but she's had a couple of weeks to fill back out. So, if she does that, that could pull her back up. Ellie was a little bit hard herself and needed to fill out a little bit. So again, she fills out a little bit. That'll put her over the top. I would probably put Ellie over Alessia. And then Ashlyn, we haven't seen her on stage since the Olympia. And the Olympia was not her best because she had just come off of COVID and all of that. So I think that Ashlyn and Ellie will probably compare very well to each other. And it's going to be a matter of who shows up looking the best that day. I do know that Ashlyn has taken her time going into this show because she wanted to bring her best and she wanted to get a win right out of the gate. So, Ashlyn does look amazing from her previews, but it's going to all be a matter of how it shakes out the day of the show and how they show up, Girl, you call every time. You should be a betting woman. Yeah, I'm not a gambler. We're here right now, but wanted to pop in and say hello since I've been able to watch in a while. Well, hello, welcome. Oh no, I got it. Okay, so I think it's going to come down to Ashlyn and Ellie. I think it's going to come down to the two of them. Now, again, we will have a pro card winner that comes out of this show, and we'll probably jump in. Who knows? That could be a boom boom. That happens sometimes, where you win your pro card and automatically get your Olympic qualification the next day. That does happen. It's rare, but it does happen. So that's a possibility. We could see somebody add on to this list that we don't have on here. I know I watched a couple of podcasts where Ashley Kaltwasser was talking about how she wanted to do this show. So I was kind of expecting to see her on that list, but she's not. So I'm curious if maybe she would pop on. She might. That doesn't necessarily mean she's going to win this, though. Ashlyn has beaten her before. So I don't know. It could be, it really could go to any one of those three is what I would say. But I would put Ellie and Ashlyn fighting for the win. They're both similar in size, too, as far as height is concerned. So they're going to be comparable. Structure-wise, yeah, they're pretty similar in structure, too, I would say. They're pretty similar in size and structure. So it'll be whoever shows up best. I really think it's going to be whoever shows up best that day. And I think it's going to come down to the two of them, with Alessia in third, barring anybody else jumping in, right? Now, I don't know if they have a live feed or not for this show. I haven't seen anything posted about that. That would be nice if they did. And I'm curious to see how many people actually do the NPC portion and what the pros look like that come out of that. Now, it looks like, let me click this real quick. Okay, so there is Masters as well. That's why we're seeing Masters pros. Okay, that makes sense. There's Masters divisions here too for Bikini and Wellness, I think. Let me see. It's all Bikini Masters so far. Yeah, no, there's Bikini. There's Masters for both. So that's why we're seeing Masters competitors in the Bikini division, and actually 4 out of the 5 in Wellness are also Masters over 35. They've got over 40. So yeah, so there's this is something too. Like the divisions with higher muscularity tend to have more successful Masters competitors. Like 4 out of the 5 Wellness competitors are over 35. So more muscle takes more time. Muscle maturity comes with age, right? So, that makes sense now. I was kind of curious as to why there were so many Masters Bikini pros. Now it makes sense. They've got the Masters too. I need to look at that. So they do have Masters Divisions Pro show for each one of these divisions too. So, what do you guys think? Who do you think's gonna come out victorious in both the Bikini and Wellness? Type in the comment. Let me know who you think's gonna come out. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of pro qualifiers throughout the year that are like this. Like if you win the overall at the show, then you do earn your pro card. And if it's tied to a pro show, you can actually compete in the pros the following day most of the time. It just depends on how the show is actually structured. For example, Ben Weeder here, they did give out pro cards, but I believe it was the same day as the pros. So you weren't able to actually cross over because they had the pros the same day as the NPC as well. I wouldn't do that show. Yeah. And again, I was looking at this show myself. But just with the unknowns when it came to travel restrictions and things like that, I just didn't want to risk it. I just didn't want to risk prepping for an early show like this and not being able to go. Right? So, yeah, Barbara, I agree. Barbara, I think will probably win this. I think Loli will likely be in second. It just depends on how Celeste and this other girl, I can't pronounce her name, it's from Spain, how they show up looking. As far as outside of Barbara, it's going to be a matter of how they show up as far as how everything else is going to play out. But again, I do think, and there is a live stream. Okay. I'll have to check that out. don't know what time any of the stuff is going on, but I'll have to check that out. So I have it between Ashlyn and Ellie. It's, again, just going to be a matter of who shows up best that day. So, yeah, and again, who knows? We could have somebody come out that wins their pro card and just take the whole thing. It could be that too. It's possible. It's happened. It's happened before. It's very rare. It's very rare, but it could happen. It could happen. Yeah, that's it. That's all we got for this week. We do have, let me see. I'm going to look. I think the next big pro show is Clash. I think. Click through real quick. Yeah, because there's a few that are outside of the country, but the next big one is going to be Clash. It's April 2nd. I think. Hold on. Let's see this. When is the Golden State? Golden State, is that April 2nd too? Is that what this is? Oh, April 9th. No, it's April 9th. So yeah, Clash is the next big one. There's a pro qualifier here. Oh, there's a pro show in Thailand too. Don't know any of these girls. They're all from the other side of the world. Yeah, I cover all the pro shows, so yes, I'll cover Toronto as well. I'll cover Toronto for sure. So there actually is a Thailand show this weekend too, but I don't know any of those girls at all. Just like the Brazil one, I don't know Brazil either. So yeah, the next big show is April 2nd. That's the Border Clash show. But if there's a live stream for Bermuda, which it sounds like there is for the Caribbean, that means that we can do a good wrap up next week. I love having live streams because I can actually watch what happened. You know. It's really hard to do wrap ups when all you got is pictures. It's really hard to do wrap ups with just pictures. You can't tell a show story from pictures. So, but with that, once we get into April, like I said, these shows are going to start getting fast and furious in April, and there's like several on like 3 or 4 pro shows per weekend kind of thing. So, it's gonna be nuts. Everything's getting back to normal basically when it comes to travel and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of these shows are gonna start popping off real quick. Post it when you find it. Yeah, somebody mentioned on YouTube that there is a live stream. So when I find it, I'll post it. I'll put it in my stories and everything, with a link and everything like that too. So somebody did mention on YouTube, if you know where the live stream is, post it please, and then I will repost it as well. So somebody did mention that on YouTube in the comments. Cool, awesome. Well, that was a quick one. That was an easy one. Tonight's live stream was not as exciting as last night's. But we will have another live tomorrow. I'll come up with another topic for tomorrow. And then we are at the Gladiator this coming weekend. So if you are local and you're coming, please let me know. I would love to say hi. And also if you're one of my posing clients and you want to get in an in-person posing session, I do those on my shows too. So if you're coming to Gladiator, you're one of my posing clients, you want to see me in person, shoot me a quick message, quick email, whatever, and we'll get you a posing session on there. And then Clash is the next show we're at. We will be at Clash. Just for fun, is there a live stream from time? I don't think so. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Most of these foreign shows don't have live streams and things like that. It's very rare that they do. But who knows? Maybe they do. If you look into it and you find it, let me know. If you find it, let me know. But yeah, we'll be at Clash. And then our season just gets so fast from there. We have one date for Sundays with Shawn in April, and this is why, because the shows start getting crazy in April. So if you're not signed up for it, sign up for it right away. And please only sign up for it if you plan on coming, because I'm only allowed for 12 people. So if you can't come, take your name off so somebody else can take your spot. because we have only one next month. And I know we've got a lot of girls competing in April and May and going forward. So it's going to be very, very fast going forward. Hold on to your hats. I'm glad that we're almost moved at this point because it's going to get crazy. It's going to get freaking crazy. So, still great. Thank you. Yes. And that's it. That's all I got for tonight. Tonight was an easy one. I still got a lot of work to do tonight, so I'm gonna let you guys go. But we will come back, like I said, as long as we have pictures, I'll do a recap. If we have a live stream, even better. If we have a live stream and somebody knows, let me know, and that'll be even better for our recap. Okay. So I hope you guys have a great evening tonight. This was an easy, really easy live stream for us tonight, and we'll do another one tomorrow. I'll come back with a topic for you tomorrow, and we'll move forward towards the weekend. And I'll definitely get you some coverage of Gladiator in person, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a great night, you guys. And I'm going to log off of Instagram. There we go. And YouTube. There we go.